Welcome. I'm glad you guys are able to come and make up the step test today. For the step test, I want to kind of go through the introduction of it, what it is, some things in it that we're trying to highlight. We'll have you guys also go through a portion of the lesson where you work together, and you guys will kind of have time to discuss your results. At the end, I'll give you guys an exit ticket. You guys can turn that in to me for your points. All right. So right now, we got a PowerPoint presentation about the step test. What is the step test? Have you guys ever done a step test before? Never have before. Okay, so first time for everything. It's a very simple process. What we're trying to test is your cardiovascular system and how well it functions for you, right? Specifically, the step test is designed to evaluate the effects exercise has on your heart rate. It's done to determine your cardiovascular health, and by doing this lesson, you'll be able to achieve a level of physical fitness, health and performance, while demonstrating your knowledge of fitness principles and concepts, okay? Today, specifically, this is kind of your lesson setup. So I know that might be hard for you guys to read, so come with me over here to the board real quick. So first, your first thing is we're gonna go over heart rate instructions, right? What they are, what it is, how to check it, and some key terms, right? Second, you guys will check your resting heart rate to kind of get going, and we'll do a quick little warm-up session where you're just walking around the room, okay? After that, we'll have a brief discussion about some more of the instructions and how we're gonna set it up, and then lastly, we'll take and discuss our results of our heart rate check, okay? On the setup of the test, we'll talk about how many heart rates you're gonna take, what the instructions are, all that good stuff. So for right now, we'll kind of start with our warm-up, okay? And we'll just walk around the court for about 2 minutes, okay? I'll set my timer and get you guys going. You guys feel free to talk, all that good stuff, all right? After that, we'll come back here to the whiteboard and we'll go through the next steps of how to set the test up, okay? All right, if you wanna set your stuff down, you can, and you guys can go ahead and begin walking now. As you guys warm up, again, you're just trying to warm your bodies up, kind of get some things going for yourself to prime your body to get ready to go. So all you're doing is just walking the perimeter of the court. And we'll do that for about 1 minute, 30 seconds. Guys come around, go ahead and have a seat in the bleachers here in front of these dots. Get you guys going through the next step. Perfect. Go ahead and have a seat, guys. Go ahead and have a seat. Okay. So now that we completed our warm-up for the test, we're going to go over how this test goes and what it's designed to do, okay? Again, it's to test your cardiovascular fitness. We do that by checking for our heart rate, okay? We check our heart rate to determine our beats per minute. That's important to understand what heart rate zone you're in so you know how much effort you're giving when you're putting out exercise. Ideally, to kind of simplify it, your beats per minute, the higher they are, the more you're working. The lower they are, the more at rest you are, okay? So as you guys go through this test, we're gonna highlight what it is for your resting time, when you're actually doing exercise, and then how long does it take for you guys to kind of recover. trend we're looking for is when you're at rest, like you guys are right now, at the end of the test, when we do your recovery heart rate, we should see your heart rate trending down toward closer to your resting than it was in your exercise. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay. So what you guys will find here are your heart rate instructions, right? Specifically, how to find your pulse, okay? There's two areas we use, either your wrist or the radial pulse. That's right along the wrist right here on the left hand preferably, because your heart's on your left side, so you'll feel the pulse a little bit stronger on your left. The other place is the carotid pulse, which is just under the jawline right there, and you can feel that too if you press in. Okay, we'll use one of those two to determine our pulse, and what we're gonna do is count how many pulses we feel for 15 seconds. Okay, you guys all have a phone? Yeah? Okay, let me get two of you guys pull a phone out. Aaron, you'll be in groups with Sergio, and then we'll have you two guys as a group, okay? So, when we count for 15 seconds, I want you first to set a timer for 15 seconds. Then we're gonna find our carotid pulse. Okay, we're gonna find our carotid pulse. Again, this is just under the jawline at the neck. We're gonna count for the number of pulses we feel for 15 seconds. On the count of 3, we're gonna go ahead and set the timer. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And you just wanna count the number of pulses you feel. Perfect. All right, take that number that you felt and you're gonna multiply it by 4 using your calculator on there. So, Jesus, do yours, and then if you got a phone, Sergio, cool. If not, you can use Aaron's, or Aaron can plug it in for you. 88, perfect, perfect. 76, oh, okay, okay, all right. So, what you're gonna do, guys, take these, and the first thing you're gonna do is write in, we're gonna consider this your resting heart rate. That number that you found on the calculator, you're gonna write that in as your resting heart rate. Perfect. So this next part, you're going to use your calculator still, and we're going to check for what our maximum heart rate is. Okay, we do that by taking the number 220, and we subtract our age from that. So if you are 10 years old, 220 minus 10, it should be 210, right? What that represents is at a maximum, when you guys are at exercising, that's your max that your heartbeat can beat per minute. Right, it's 220 pulses or 210 pulses per minute, essentially. So that means you're working out at a very high level. So you use that number 220, subtract your age, and the number you get is your maximum heart rate. And then you guys can go ahead and fill that in. Everybody got their maximum, and everybody got their resting, right? So now we're gonna take some time, kind of discuss amongst yourself. I want you guys to think about one thing, right? What's the difference between what your max is and where you're at resting? Is it significantly different? Is it really high? Are they close? What are some things that you think might be contributing to your resting heart rate being so different than your maximum heart rate. And you guys take about, I don't know, 30 seconds, just kind of discuss in your group what you might think about those things, okay? Okay, so Aaron, based on your max heart rate compared to your resting heart rate, is it super different? Is it close? Okay, so when we say our maximum heart rate is 204, that's how fast or how hard we're capable of working. In your resting heart rate, and compared to that, were you working that hard? Not really, right? And you shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that high because you weren't really doing too much and a whole lot of exercise, right? So now, that's the trend. Jesus, and your case, was it close? Was it different too? Or what did you notice? It was different. A lot different. A lot different. Was it, what do you think that means? Does it mean like you're in shape or you're not really in shape? What you think? You don't think you're in shape? There you go. There you go. He said that it means that your body at rest isn't really doing a whole lot, and when you're in, compared to when you're doing activities or exercising, right? And so that's what that trend shows him as he analyzes his data. That's what he sees, is that's a trend for him, right? So now this next part, we're gonna do the actual step test itself, okay? We'll go through that real quick. Okay. So the objective of this, again, you'll be able to demonstrate your ability to analyze your heart rate. You guys have already done that. You guys have looked at your heart rate already in this short time and assess what your fitness level is. We assess that we're in pretty decent shape because our resting heart rate is nowhere close to what our maximum heart rate should be. Right. So we understand, again, the difference between our pulses. The carotid one is the neck, the radial is the wrist, right? These are some things, our maximum heart rate, we figured that out. We also figured out what our resting and recovery heart rates will be, right? Aerobic and anaerobic exercises, okay? What you're gonna do, the step test is a form of an aerobic exercise. It's a small continuous burst of energy in your exercise versus an anaerobic, it's like high intensity, right? This should be a low intensity type of a test, and we'll go through some examples on what those look like, right? Aerobic versus anaerobic exercises, and you guys can see this on the board too. Running or jogging, swimming, those are aerobic exercises. Anaerobic exercises is stuff like jumping plyometrics, weightlifting, stuff like that, where you have shorter bursts and they're more intense exercises. Okay? On the step test, each person is gonna go ahead and stand on one of these dots. You guys got plenty of dots to choose from and kind of spread out. And all you're gonna do is stand here, and we'll start for about 3 minutes. You're gonna conduct the test. You're gonna step up, right foot, up left foot, down right foot, down left foot. And it's continuous, just like that, over and over again. We'll do that for about 3 minutes. At the end of the 3 minutes, we'll stop, we'll stand where we are, we're gonna check for our heart rate, and that'll be considered our exercise or active heart rate. Okay, we'll log that in, then we'll sit down, and we'll have 3 rest intervals for a minute in between to see, is there a trend where our heart rate goes down, or does it stay up? Okay? Any questions, guys? All right, go ahead and spread out. You guys can go ahead and pick your spot. All right, everybody ready? Everybody ready, guys? Yep. No. You good? You ready? All right, on the whistle we'll begin in 3, 2. Biometrics. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. One minute, 43 seconds, guys. Got some music, it was maybe a little bit better, but the sound system wasn't available for it. All right. 1 minute left. Guys. When the whistle blows, we'll stop. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. All right, stand where you are. Stay standing. We're going to find our pose on the karate pose. Okay, we're going to count for 15 seconds. The number of pulses that we feel. Ready? 2, 1, go. Count your number of pulses. Perfect. All right, so Jesus. Along with everyone else, go ahead and you're going to do your calculation, right? The number of pulses you feel times 4. So how do we calculate that again? Times what by 4? The number of pulses. Perfect. Take the number of pulses you felt, multiply it by 4. That will be your beats per minute. And you're going to write that in on your table. Okay? Okay. Once everybody wrote it, go ahead and make your way over here to the whiteboard. Go ahead and have a seat, guys. Okay, so Aaron, if you could for us, set a timer on your phone for 1 minute, and we're just gonna sit down and relax. We're gonna check our first recovery heart rate number 1. Recovery heart rate number 1. So we're gonna sit for 1 minute. Yep, you can go ahead and start. Sit for 1 minute, just chilling. See if we can calm down. And this is recovery heart rate number 1. That's time, guys. All right, again, find your pulse, your carotid pulse, and you're gonna count the number of pulses you feel for 15 seconds. Ready, begin. And time. All right, multiply that number by 4, and go ahead and write your recovery heart rate number 1 in. Perfect. Jose, can you do a timer for another 1 minute? And this will be recovery rate number 2. Time? All right, go ahead and find your pulse one more time. And we're gonna count the number we feel, multiply it by 4 for 15 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, and begin. And time. That number multiplied by 4. Last one, I set a timer, 45 seconds, and this will be our recovery rate number 3. All right, that's timed up. All right, find your pulse one more time. This will be recovery rate number 3. you guys write that down. Take the next 30 seconds or so, talk amongst yourselves as a group. What are some of the trends you noticed? Did you notice stuff really wasn't the same? There wasn't much change? Did you notice there was a big change? You might want to compare it to your maximum heart rate. Like, take your time, think about it, talk to each other for about 30 seconds, and then I'll check back in. All right, Sergio, what's something you noticed about your heart rates? Were they like the same? Were they very different? What do you? Kind of the same, right? Anybody else have the same? You have the same ones? What do you guys think that means? Stay in the same pace, right? In terms of your fitness level, do you think that means you're in pretty good shape? Or does that mean you're not in shape? In pretty good shape. Exactly. He said he's not getting tired easy. That means that he's in relatively good shape. There's some things that might affect it, like your age, right? Your age, how much weight you're carrying. Also, too, just how physically fit you guys are. Anybody here play sports? Okay, what sport you play? Wrestling, football, and soccer, right? High endurance, a lot of cardiovascular things that you guys are doing in terms of your drills. A lot of that may contribute to your levels being what they are, okay? So for this last part, guys, if you look here on the whiteboard, I want you guys to come to the board, work together on this next part to determine what your heart rate zone is, okay? This is based on the average range from a person who's 14 to 16 years old. The beats per minute is what kind of determines how or what zone you're in. Okay, the max heart rate, we figured that out. If you're between 100 and 324 beats per minute, you're only using about 50 to 60% of your rate. That's considered in the resting zone. That means you might have light activity, maybe you were just walking, maybe you did some stretching, nothing really tasking, right? If you're about 60 to 70%, 124 to 145 beats per minute, you doing moderate activity, maybe you're in the fat burning zone. Cardio zone, you're 145 to 165. Your peak zone, which is using about 80 to 90% of your maximum rate, 165 to 185. This is typically seen with like sprinting, high intensity exercises. Your max effort zone, 90 to 100%. You're giving maximum output, you're pushing the limits of your fitness, and your beats per minute is 185 to 206 usually. So you're gonna base this off of your exercise heart rate, and you're gonna see based on your exercise heart rate at the bottom of your exit ticket, what heart rate zone were you in? And you're just gonna circle which one you were in based on your exercise heart rate, okay? And then you're gonna also use your resources to determine 2 different aerobic exercise examples, and you guys can write that in and work together. Yeah, once you have it in, turn it in, and then go ahead and have a seat on it. So Jose, come here real quick. So based on your max, right? Your maximum output was 204, resting was 92, your exercise heart was 124. You're in pretty good shape, man. You're in pretty good shape. So how often you play soccer?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays.
Weekends on Saturdays.
Okay. Nice,
Or
man.
Sundays.
Nice. Well, this looks good, man. What's something that you think maybe helps you kind of understand, does help you understand the step test better in terms of your fitness? Do you think your fitness is in good shape overall?
Well, it helps me learn what my fitness is now because I didn't know if I was in good shape or not good shape. But this helps out now because
Okay.
I read what the charts and everything say.
Nice, man. Right on. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Go ahead and have a seat, and then I'll give it to the other guys. Hey, dude. All right. So based on this, you were kind of in the resting zone, right? You weren't really doing too much, but that could also be What's some factors you think might contribute to that?
Running daily.
Running daily, right? You typically practice your cardio fitness, and that helps you be able to kind of maintain yourself. So something like this exercise might be considered light for you because you're used to training. All right. Okay. Cool. Aaron and fat burn. Nice, man. So that means you're working pretty hard. Right? You do any sports?
Nah.
Okay.
Not really doing
What's something that maybe you could do if you want to continue this? What's some aerobic exercises you could do?
Probably like just start running a little bit more.
Running more?
Jogs and stuff.
Okay. Cool, man. Right on. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, Sergio. Let's take a look and see, man. Right on. You were in the same area as Aaron. That's interesting. So for you to maintain this area, this heart rate zone, what are some examples of aerobic exercises you could do to maybe help you get better?
Right now for walks.
Walking, right? Maybe running, jogging a little bit. As you kind of get more and more in shape, you can do more high intensity things, jumping jacks, stuff like that. So, right on, guys. Well, I appreciate it. That's the class. We're all done. Appreciate it. And you guys have a good day, man. All right, man. I got you guys.